Something I often forget. Welcome, everybody, to the Business Builder this Thursday. It is such a pleasure to have you here. I hope you are all warm. Those of us sitting in South Africa at the moment are a little bit on the chilly side, so I hope you are keeping yourselves warm. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce our speaker today. Kim Knight is a startup expert, business coach, and an advisor. And because she is a small business owner herself, she fully understands the struggles of being an entrepreneur. And it's a big aim of hers to help business owners avoid the pitfalls that most of us go through. So I'm really excited to have her talk to us today about attracting clients. Kim is hands-on, she's pragmatic, and she's really good at giving practical, easy to implement advice, not this nonsense that you hear from all the gurus all over social media. So Kim, welcome. I'm so happy to have you here today, and I am going to hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Tamron, and thank you, everyone. I'm going to start sharing my screen quickly, but I just, what a lovely welcome. It's so nice. Thank you. And it's spot on, Tamron. That's exactly who I am. I am a small business owner myself, have been for many years, but I'm really into practical, hands-on approach, advice. That's who I am, step by step, and avoiding all the pitfalls that too many of us still make, right? That cost a lot of money. So I will introduce myself a little bit more, but this is the beginnings of my PowerPoint slide. I've got my clock here, so I will be watching the time. No matter how, here's a good tip. Guys, I'm very, what's the word? I'm unscripted, okay? So tips come along the way if you want to write them down or just if you're one of those people that remember them. But one of the tips that I just thought of now is it doesn't matter how interesting the content is. Truly, it can be fantastic content. It could be Tony Robbins or whoever. If you go over time, people start getting bored. The mind switches off because your mind is prepared for a certain amount of time. So always, if you say to someone an hour or whatever it is, try and stick to the time. Okay, so show me the clients. Who doesn't want clients? Who doesn't want more clients? I really don't think that's any of us, right? We can all do with more clients. Any business, doesn't matter how successful you are. If you don't, you got to keep the clients coming in. So let's get to our lovely. Okay, so today we will discuss. There's three things I want to discuss. Now, everyone, this is part of a. I many years ago, I think it was about 2017. I did my first client attraction live workshop before COVID. And it was just a success. You know, when something is just a success, it was just, and then I did them like almost every 3 months. We used to fill the rooms and it was just fabulous, honestly. COVID happened. I've got a 14-day attract clients program if you're interested in that. But what I did for these talks is I condensed this into what I think is absolutely essential that you know and that you can apply. So I've taken that workshop and I do a year program. I've taken all that information, condensed it, really geared towards attracting clients. So what's important here is to have an intentional, strategic, and systematic approach. How many of us have that? If you think about it, is it intentional? Is it strategic? And is it systematic? So maybe, if you have all three, that's fantastic. Most of us have it's strategic. We normally start with a strategy and then we forget the others, or we start with the systems and then we forget to have the intention. But that's really, really powerful. Whenever I'm on that line, intentional, strategic, and systematic, things flow. Okay, so some days you get it right 100%, other days not so easy peasy. Okay, you also want a system that is predictable and reliable. So I've been in the business for many years, and you tweak and you do this and you do that. But when something works, guys, stick with it. Don't change it. So my client attraction workshop, even though I started in 2017, when I do live workshops, I do not change a single slide. Okay. And everyone always tells me, I've had people that have attended 4 or 5 times. And they say, wow, it was so different this time. All the slides were different. It's like, no, not one slide. Because every time you attend, you have evolved, or you at a different place in your business, or maybe your business has to pivot. So you're seeing the information with new eyes. Okay. I do a Turkey retreat. I do a wonderful retreat in Turkey. I haven't been in the last year because of changes in my life. But also there, I do not change a thing. I mean, content, nothing. I organize the whole trip, what we do, etc., etc. Yes, Tony, we need to go to Turkey. I do not change a single thing because it works. So when something works, everyone, work it more. It's when something doesn't work, then we need to be aware of that and change that up. And then when you have this wonderful system, constantly improve. Sometimes it can't be improved, but at least look at it. You know, Edward de Bono with lateral thinking, he will take the system, a strategy, and see if it can be improved. And he himself says, if it can't be improved, leave it, but it's at least good to look at it. Okay, so those are the three things that are very important, and we're going to look at in a fairly short space of time. So, what the heck do I know about getting clients? Well, when I started in 2006, I knew absolutely nothing. Okay, so I know a lot more now. And really, how I've come to know this is just by really, getting burnt. And I might be speaking to a lot of people that understand this. Spending money in the wrong places, on the wrong thing, at the wrong time. Um, I remember spending $5,000 on a LinkedIn course when I didn't even know what LinkedIn was. Everyone started speaking about LinkedIn back in the day, and I thought, this is what my business needs to grow. A week later, I didn't even touch it because it was completely wrong for my business. No one advised or guided me. And that was one of my first very costly mistakes. Another first costly mistake was spending so much money on a website. So I know I'm controversial, but I would highly suggest you don't even really need a website nowadays, depending on the business. Maybe a one-page landing page, but all that money spent on websites and then going to my website and angst about the shade of the color of the website, spending hours on that and not on you know business attracting work tasks that bring in the income. So these are the things I learned. So I have learned quite a bit, and I've really wasted a lot of money, everyone, on all the wrong things. And my last big waste was in 20, I think it was 2017, 2018. I wasn't getting clients. I didn't know what to do. I really sought out a really good coach. I just moved, couldn't find a coach. So I did. Can you believe it? It was a cold call. They got me on a wrong day and said, look here, we're doing an advertising thing in a magazine. It sounded right. 40,000 Rand later, in 1 year, I got one lead, and that person wanted it for free. Okay. So I really do know a lot about what not to do. So I want to show you what to do. I would be interested to know how many other people on this course have wasted a lot of money on the wrong thing. Okay, so I know this is going back, but I wanted to show you this because in 2016, I started a new program. I was working with a whole group of entrepreneurs, and for a company, I was contracting. And it was good, but it just wasn't practical enough. And as far as I was concerned, the entrepreneurs weren't moving fast enough. So I decided to create my own program, which was the Top 6 Mastermind. And what I did with this Top 6 Mastermind is, so in August 2016, when I left that contract, I literally had zero. I didn't have one client, and I had no money coming in through coaching. And I said to myself, I'm putting myself on my own program, and I'm really going to go all out, because my program says that you can earn 6 figures a month within a year or less. And in November 2017, just over a year, August, September, it was more, I wasn't really doing anything. I was just getting the program set up, etc. That was my monthly income. So why I'm putting it there is because if you follow these strategies like I did, and I went all out, it really is possible. So another tip, everyone, is it is much easier to be able to share with your clients what you can do and market your services when you know it can be done. You can, I have no hesitation. One of my clients, he actually cashed in his insurance policy to do the course. And within 8 months or so, he was in 6 figures. So the tip here is be sure that you can really attest to that. Because if you have done it yourself or your clients, other clients of yours have done it, it's easy to sell. It's easy to sell. Okay. Okay. So the top 5 client attraction mistakes. Now, a lot of people will say, coaches shouldn't focus on the negatives. But yes, I agree in a way. But how do we know what's right if we don't know what's wrong? So a lot of the time we keep on doing the same things over and over, just like Einstein said, keep on doing the same things over and over and expecting different results. And it is sheer madness, but we still do it. We keep on doing it. So I want to highlight 5 mistakes that I keep on seeing. You might see yourself in this, and it's not to make you feel bad. I want to highlight these because I want you to stop wasting time on these mistakes and do the things that you need to do for income producing activities. Okay. And you can just note for yourself, don't worry, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but how many of these are you making or have you made? Okay. So, Tamron said that I'm a startup expert, which I am. I actually studied through the States. I don't think they have a program like that in South Africa. But I just picked up on this word the other day because I was explaining to someone that many established businesses that I've worked with actually still operate as startups because we're not past the startup phase yet. So I work a lot with established startups, and we'll have a slide later on to see exactly where you're at. Okay, and this is why we're there, because we're making these mistakes. So here we go. Not enough sales time. What do I mean by that? Many entrepreneurs, startups, newer, smaller businesses, and remember, everything I put here is things that I've done and can easily do if I don't, watch myself. We don't spend enough time on the income producing activities. We spend time on fiddling with the website, on doing this, on doing that, because a lot of the time there is a fear around the idea of sales or marketing, or also just because you don't know what to do. You don't know what to do, when to do, and how to do it. So we're not spending enough time on sales. Now, I don't want to scare you, but the stats say that especially with newer, smaller startups to medium-sized businesses, the amount of sales time you should be spending, and I don't just mean sales knocking on the door, I mean anything that is an activity that is geared towards bringing in income at the end of the day, should be about 70% of your time. Whether you want to calculate it per day, per week, or per month, that is up to you, because all our brains think differently. But I like to go per week because then I can monitor myself. So what I do is, in my calendar, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are sales kinds of activities: networking, calling, following up, meeting someone, doing a workshop, doing an event, because those are all income producing activities. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are kind of blocked out for that. Monday is an admin / day. Friday is a creative day. Sometimes I also do courses on a Friday. Okay, so 70%. Now, I know that's pretty hectic, because when you do that, your admin and that falls by the wayside if you don't have an assistant. But I have proven, and I proved it in those numbers, that when I did that full out, that's when my business really grew. Okay, so here's a quick task for homework. What you can do is Yes, I do it in another course, but I have a list, and it's a very interesting, everyone. If you write, you just keep it by your computer every day, and you write down what you do and how much time you've spent on it per day, and you add that up during the at the end of the week. It might be quite scary because you will find that you're spending a lot of time on nothing, i.e., things that are not bringing in income. Okay, so that's your number one. Number two, big one. In fact, when I said this once in one of the workshops, someone actually started crying. We hide behind our computers. What I mean by that is it's so comfortable, especially when it's cold here in South Africa, you know, in our little office, and there's a computer, and we're doing this and we're doing that, and then we answer one email, and before we know it, we spend 2 hours on emails, etc. And the reason is because a lot of the time we fear getting out there. Um, as coaches like me, I love creating content. So I can get lost in content creation. Once I start, I don't want to stop. Okay. So it's very safe in that space for me. I have a client who's a researcher, so she gets lost in research. So what I say is it's time to get out of the library. It's time to get out of the coffee shop behind your computer and get out there and start getting known. You've got to be visible. People need to know who you are and what you do. Okay. Very cautious. A lot of people are cautious about what they do, and sometimes too cautious. At the end of the day, we don't end up doing anything. Now, I do believe in making calculated risks. So whatever it is that you want to do, you know, just you weigh it up. What is the risk involved? And then still, if you're not sure, sometimes we just have to take the leap. There is no guarantee, everyone, that whatever we try out is going to work. You've got to get used to the idea, if you're not already, that to be successful, we're going to fail at certain times, i.e., we're not going to be successful sometimes. But if we keep on doing it, keep on doing it, keep on doing it, we're going to hit that bullseye at some point in time. Okay. So it's just about keep on doing it. I've got a rule that if I try something new, I've got to go at it diligently for at least 3 to 6 months. And then I can decide whether it's a good strategy or not. But if I don't do that diligently, I will not be able to assess if it's actually worked for my business or not. If we just go at it here and there, you know, how, and then someone says, but it didn't work. And then I ask them, but how diligently, how well did you work it? Okay. Another problem with us is we don't learn how to sell. It's such an interesting one that we come into our businesses, and one of the most important things, marketing, getting known, being visible, networking, because networking is about selling. We somehow just think that we can do it. So are you studying up on that? Are you reading books? Are you attending podcasts or webinars, etc.? Well, you are, because you're here today. You know how much I've learned about this from 2017 is incredible. Things I had no clue about. You know, the best way to learn something is to teach it. So spend more time on educating yourself than just sort of winging it, if you're not already. And then what I see a lot of the time is the shotgun approach. Believe me, I know that very well. Okay. So as I said to you, I spent 40,000 Rand on that ad in the magazine. That was a shotgun approach. I was sitting at my desk. I was freaking out. There were no, whatever I was doing, I was working really hard. I thought so, but at all the wrong things. And then this thing came along and I tried that. Remember, I told you I tried the LinkedIn thing. I tried this, I tried that. Instead of just sitting down and deciding, okay, Kim, you're going to do 1, 2, and 3, give it a go for 6 months, and then you can see if it works or not. Okay, because here we do spend a lot of time, but it's not ferocious. So do you have a shotgun approach, or have you got a very clear, focused, strategic plan? And what my rule as well is, if you can be focused 70% of the time, you're going to do amazingly well. Sometimes it's 100%, sometimes it's 30%. But if you can keep an average of 70%, you'll see a big change in your business. Okay, is everyone good? Everyone on board? Okay. Okay, so the number one thing you must get right to attract clients easily. Without this, nothing else works. Does anyone want to take a guess? You can unmute. Anyone want to be brave enough? Neil? No, it's okay.
I don't have an idea.
Okay. Okay, so here we go. The number one thing, your niche. I know you've heard it time and time again. Most probably ad nauseum. I mean, I would go to workshops and I was like, oh, here we are again, the niche. But I'm really getting it now, okay? And I love this picture because that fish eagle, he knows his niche. He's not going to go and scout around some forest somewhere for a mouse or something else. Okay, he'll most probably end up dying if he keeps on doing that. He knows his niche and he'll fly around and he will wait until he finds that big fish and dive in and go for it. But when you know your niche, he doesn't waste time looking elsewhere. He's not going to look in the forest. He knows exactly where to look. And really, everyone, this took me a long time to grasp. It really did. But every time I practice this for myself, it works. But I am going to give you one tip. What I've discovered is you don't just have to have, you don't have to just have a niche for, and that's my niche forever and ever. What I do now is, because I've added quite a few services and products. I've just started a new venture, which I'll share with you. For that venture, I have a different niche. Okay, so if you add a product or service, look at it and is it the same niche or not? It can be a different niche. Okay, so look at all your products and services and see what the niche is. But what I want to share with you is a niche comprises of 3 parts. Many workshops that I've gone to only focus on the who. They don't tell you about the others. They kind of tell you sort of on the side. Whenever people think of the niche, they think of who that niche is. But it actually equally, I don't know how you put equally for 3, comprises of 3 parts. So think about this as I'm talking to you. Think about your niche and see how well you're doing and see what you want to change. So who is your niche? The actual person, the who is your niche? Is it male, female? I can't go into all of that today, but the person. So who is it? The second is what helps me before I do any marketing message. What is that niche's main problem? What is their problem? So I knew from working with a lot of entrepreneurs for quite some years, one of the main problems, not the only problem, one of the main problems, or that caused a lot of angst, is attracting clients. Okay, so I've got other workshops, but this is the one. Okay, so now I know the problem. What results do they want to get? They want to attract more clients. So if I'm going to do this, I can formulate a message to the right person about what their problem is and promise them the kind of support they're going to get to be able to attract clients. So can you see that it's a 3-part process and not just the who? You maybe do it subconsciously, but if you do it consciously like that, these 3 parts, everyone, will formulate a great marketing message for you. Okay. So what we're going to do now is the ABC. You know, as I think Tamron said, I like things to be easy peasy, step by step, and practical and hands-on. So we're going to do the ABC of actually of constant clients. So how do you attract attention? The A is attract attention. That's what we need to do, right? So this is a slide of generally all the marketing methods or the categories of the marketing methods. I'm just going to go quickly. I'm not going to go into all of them. I am watching the time. You know many of them. I'll just stop on one or two that I need to. And I'll tell you why, because we're going to talk about your marketing methods. And you can even, if you don't have a marketing strategy yet, I'll quickly help you to create that. Okay. So we have internet marketing, the press, referrals, word of mouth. Okay, referrals and word of mouth. A lot of people don't know the difference between referrals and word of mouth. So a referral is, let's say, Tamron knows me. Someone asks for a business coach or a startup expert. Tamron says, I know Kim, I've worked with her. I can attest for her content, etc., etc. Here's a referral. She gives me a referral or gives that person, please contact Kim. That is a referral. She knows me. Okay? Word of mouth is when you get to this level, it's beautiful. Okay? Word of mouth is someone comes to Tamron and says, I'm starting up a business. Do you know anyone who can help me? Tamron says to them, I've never worked with Kim or met her, but I've heard so much about her and I've heard only good things. That is your number one kind of referral. That she has heard so much about the person that she feels very comfortable saying, please contact him. Okay, so that's where we want to get to. And everyone, remember, to get to this point and to get referrals, we have to be good at our game. We have to know what we're doing. You won't get referrals if you don't follow up, if you don't keep your promises, and if you're not good at what you do. Okay. Strategic pursuit. This is sorry guys. It's miracle. Strategic pursuit is, by the way, I rescued her from Turkey in my last trip. This is powerful, but a strategic pursuit can take you some years. It depends what you want. I was working with a couple, and they were in logistics. Their strategic pursuit was they wanted to gain Engine as a client. So it was very strategic. They wanted Engine as a client, and they are now going to pursue Engine. Now, around that strategic pursuit, you then make a business plan. You decide you're going for it. I don't know. It took them some years, and I don't know if they ever got that. So it can take a long time, and you might be you might be successful, maybe not. Strategic alliances. You make alliances with people that you know that have the same aim, or maybe we do a workshop together. For example, Tamron and myself, we form an alliance. She takes care of one part, I take care of another, and we reach a wider audience. And with the right people, it can be beautiful. Okay. Social media, creates a community. This is what Tamron's done. This is a community. It's amazing. So if you create a community like this, because she's created the community, you know who Tamron Dix is. Okay, so that is one way of getting known. If you don't have the time, guts, or it takes a lot of work, everyone, because I had a community as well. It takes a lot of work to do this. So if that's not part of your business plan, it's okay, but you can belong to a community. Advertising, publishing a book, trade shows, mail campaigns, through your emails, networking. This is a form of networking. Okay, just being on a platform like this is networking. It's not only something that says networking. You can be networking at a braai. You go to a braai and, we entrepreneurs, you can't help but talk about business, and the next thing you've got a client. So that is networking. Joint ventures, working together with one or two or three people. And e-sign, articles, blogs. Okay, that was a big thing in a couple of years ago. I don't know how many people are doing. I suppose a lot of people are blogging, but it does take a lot of time to do that. It takes a lot of time. And then speaking. Okay, speaking. Can I quickly tell you something? Speaking is one of your best marketing methods ever. Because so this is a speaking event. Anything that you're on stage where you are speaking to a group of people, whether it's 10 minutes, 3 hours, or Turkey for me it's a 10-day event, because you're reaching so many more people in the same amount of time that you would have reached one. So speaking is, if you can get on stage and start speaking, it's a wonderful way to market yourself. Okay, so those are your general marketing methods. Okay, now why did I share that with you? Because the marketing method you choose depends on the stage of business you are in. Now, everyone, I want you to get your pen and paper. I want you to do this with me. You don't have to answer me, because I want you to figure out, if you don't know already, what stage of business you are in. And you could think you at one stage and not be. This is a very simple, fantastic little formula by courtesy of Ali Brown. She's in the States. And it's wonderful. You can do it every 6 months to see where you are. So I'm going to ask the question. You, on your paper, you write down your answer and be honest with yourself. Okay? So, number one, are you making enough money to support you and the business? So a lot of people say to me, yes. And then I'll say, and the business? Are you supporting the business only, or you, or both? So are you making enough to support you and the business? I'm first going to go to no. Let's say you answered no. And there's no judgment here. I mean, that's why we do courses, and we're gearing towards becoming that multimillionaire. When you know, then you say to yourself, are you consistently making sales? Consistently. So either weekly, daily, or even monthly, because depending on the industry, like construction, you can't monitor it monthly because they have seasons, but you must find out a way to monitor that. But is it consistent? Sometimes we get 5 clients a month, and then the next month we only get 2, or we get 1 a week and then 0, etc. So let's go again to no. No, I do get sales, I do get clients, but it's not consistent. It's not regular. Then, everyone, you are a startup, even if you've been in business for 15 years. Your stage of business, it doesn't matter how long you've been established, but how you're functioning is as a startup. Okay? But if you are consistently making sales, then you are at base. So that's just one up, right? You're consistently making sales, you got some structure going. You are at base. So let's go up again. Are you making enough money to support you and your business? You say yes. Yes, I am. And it's been like that for quite some months. Perfect. Then you ask yourself, do you have a solid team and systems in place? If it's no, if you don't have a solid team, if you need one, even if the team is one person, and if you don't have a solid system that works like a well-oiled machine, then you are at expand. You're getting there. But if you do have a solid team and you do have systems, you are now at thrive. And as Robert Kiyosaki says, we want to be at thrive, because at thrive, we can now invest our money into the business and expand as well, into the business, but we can start looking at other business ventures. We can even have someone run our company and you go and do something else that you're now interested in. So Why I shared that with you is because based on your stage of business, so keep that in mind, what is your stage, will determine the best marketing methods to use. Okay. So you'll see this, and Tamron, you will share the slides with everyone, right?
Yes, yes, I will.
Great, because they can go back. So if you, because I don't want to go step by step here because time is limited. But if you look here, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, from startup to base, especially I'm looking at the 1, 2s. That's when you should be networking and doing referrals, word of mouth, strategic alliances, forming alliances with others. Okay. Why? Why networking refer? Why? Because when you're at that phase, you're not known enough yet. You have to get out there. People need to start getting to know you. Especially in the beginning, always, but especially in the beginning, relationship building is your number one way to get known. How do Tamron and I know each other? I mean, it's freaky. Through networking. We were on a networking session, I think, and then we said, let's have a one-to-one. We followed up. Guys, follow up, follow up, follow up. We had a lovely session. I was still in Durban. Do you remember that, Tamron? You were in PE. And
Yes.
the next thing, we're talking to each other. Now here I am. And guess what? We're both in Nelspruit, which we didn't even know, in Mpumalanga. Okay. So if you're in startup and base, especially everyone, relationship building marketing methods are your most important. Don't be spending money on publishing a book or expensive trade shows. I've been to those shows. I stood there for 3 days, didn't get one client. Been there, done that. Okay. Spent loads of money on that kind of thing because no one knows you. No one knows you. There you're standing with your flyer. Okay. So then we go to, now you're getting 2, 3, 2, 3, and 4 strategic pursuits, speaking, creating a community. I'm going to suggest as well that even if you level 1 or 2 and you want to speak or you want to do workshops and events, I would say speaking, I would put that there as well. Okay. So can you see creating a community? Because Tamron was more established, so she started creating a community. She didn't start right in the beginning when she started business. It's when you're a little bit more established. Okay. Then all of these others, 3 and 4, base, expand and thrive. Those are the kinds of marketing methods you will do. Why? Because you've got more money. Press takes money. Advertising takes money. Joint ventures might take money as well. Publishing a book, very time consuming, costs a lot of money. So depending on your stage, choose the correct marketing method. Can I quickly give you some homework to do or to create your own marketing method? From this, and I promise you this has worked for me and for my clients and all those clients on the Top 6 Mastermind. Today, choose your best 1, 2, 3 marketing methods you are going to use for the next 3 months. Even if it's only one, based on this information we've done today, choose your top 3 marketing methods and work it. Work it like a demon and see what happens. And maybe everyone, you actually maybe already using the correct marketing methods. Okay? But then just work it diligently. I hope that helps. And not the ad hoc approach. 1 week we're doing network, the next week we may be, doing a little bit of advertising and that kind of thing. Okay, so the B of ABC is bonding, building relationships. I can't stress it more and more. I can do a whole workshop on this. referred them because they networked with me, building relationships over the years. Okay. It's now, I mean, I talk to this, but now I'm really, it's incredible how it works, building relationships. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the magical, give you a nice step here. Remember, I am watching the time, but I just wanted to give you as much as possible in the time that we have. So when you speak to someone, let's say you've got a prospect and they're very interested in what you do. What I've found is the mindset tips before you start. Get your mindset right. Don't just go into a meeting quickly rushing from one to the next. I mean, when I was already thinking this morning, I was preparing, I messaged Cameron, I think this morning, I was here at 2:30, you know, I was ready. My mindset was ready for today. The same with a prospective client. Get ready. Take 15 minutes. Sit down, think about them. You know, get into, you only want the best for them. You want to support them. Okay? So get into the right mindset for a particular client. When you're speaking with your client, ask powerful questions, and you can add this, and listen. Let them talk. We must not do the talking. 80-20. They talk 80%, you talk 20% of the time. They need to talk, they want to talk, especially if they're talking about their business. But through your powerful question and listening to them, they are telling you exactly where they are and what they need, even if they don't know it. Okay? So through that, you exploring the gap, their gap. They're here, they want to be here. What's that gap in the middle? You can only explore that gap if you listen to them and you ask powerful questions. Then, and you feed back to them, I see that this is what you want, but you know, this is what's happening. But can you imagine if you did earn 6 figures every month? How would that feel? Because the gap is normally uncomfortable because it's not where we want to be. We want to be somewhere else. But help them to imagine, you know, take them out, help them to imagine that if they just did 1, 2, or 3, they could possibly have their vision. Okay? Get them inspired and motivated. Because if they have structured support and they're willing, then the chances are that they will get there if you've got a good program. As this is happening, everyone, you are asking in your mind, can I help this client? Okay? If you can't, please refer them to someone else. Okay? Because there's nothing worse than taking on a client and you can't really help them. It will cause a lot of damage to your self-esteem, your confidence, and to your business. But if you can help them, you then assure them that you can help them. And just very briefly, don't go into too many details, especially with this initial conversation. You will help them by 1, 2, or 3. Assure them that, and you can assure them, like I told you, my client who cashed in his insurance policy, that's a lot of stress on my shoulders, but he made it back. In fact, he made that back within about 6 months. Okay? And then assure them, and then let them close the conversation. Let them close the deal. I'll explain what I mean now. Okay, we've just got 1 or 2 more slides to go. Okay, so I know you're going to get the slides, and I'm speaking a bit quickly maybe, but that's kind of your route. Okay, what do I mean by letting them close? So you outline your offerings. Please, everyone, I've made this mistake so many times. I've spoken to a prospect online or offline, and I didn't think they were going to sign up, and then they wanted to sign up. And I hadn't even thought of my offerings. Back in the day, I hadn't thought of my offerings and how much they cost and all of that. It was just a nightmare. And then you're trying to tread water there. But I'm sure you're way further along than what I was those years. Outline your offerings. What do you have that's applicable to them? Offer choice. Always give them a choice of 3. I do a workshop on that, but believe me, a choice of 3. The one, they will completely say, no, that's not for me. And then they've got a choice of 2. Human beings like choice. Okay? Discuss the investment. When you discuss the investment, don't lower your voice and all of a sudden and start speaking quickly. So, because you're shy and you're not confident and you've got your own money story, that's what I used to do. Be bold, be loud, go slowly over the investment. What I discovered with my one client that I was speaking to, she did my year course with me. I spoke slowly, I told her the investment, and then she just kept quiet. So here's another tip. She just kept quiet. You must keep quiet. You must keep quiet. Pause, pause, pause. Do not think the person is not interested. I just let her sit there. I just sat there. And then she said, yes. And then she chose the offering, which offering. And I asked her name's Taz. I said, Taz, why were you so quiet? What was going on there? And she said she was going over the numbers in her head, what she could and couldn't afford. Do not think when people are quiet that they don't want to do it. That used to be my mistake. Let them choose, give them payment options, and also the timing. Okay. So let's say, for example, if you're giving an offer, the offer is available for the next 24 hours. Don't make it open-ended because there must be some urgency to it. Also, if you're giving payment options, let's say it's a 6-month course, the timing, they must have paid paid everything by at least the 4th month. Don't go right until the end. The chances are they're not going to pay you right at the end. Okay, it happens all the time. Always sweeten the deal. When I see someone's interested, I've got a lot of things that I can add on that are no expense to me, but I know will be helpful for them. I'll say, because you're interested in such and such, if you wanted to do the gold program, I could offer this program, and that boot camp free of charge. And they upgrade. Okay, sweeten the deal. And then everyone be ready to sign up. Expect them to sign up so that you're ready. You've got your credit card machine or you've got your forms or whatever you need, whatever your process is. Okay. Then, I think this is our last slide. So this is the steps to attracting clients. Remember, this is all about attracting clients. So we start off. That's what I did today. Why? Because they are the 2 most important steps before anything else. Okay, we need to know who we're selling to be able to make our message, and then we can start attracting clients. But what I've found is many of my clients start creating packages, or they build a team. Many people get their team together, but they haven't actually really looked at this. Okay, so this is your way to look. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit flexible. But you start with your niche and your message, client attraction. Then you go to pricing, internet smarts, whatever that, website, all of that. Then you go, I love doing compelling offers. But first, you must get that in order before you can talk about really compelling offers. Your sales story, packaging and leveraging, speaking to sell, getting speaking gigs, and building a rock star team. This everyone is actually how I ran my program. I followed this line just like that, and it worked like a dream. So get these 2 right. That's what we're focusing on today. And you might have done this many times, but because what I'm seeing since COVID especially, our businesses are changing all the time. All the time. You're either evolving or you may be not interested anymore, or maybe your business had to close down because of COVID or something else, the looting in Durban, etc., etc. So we have to re-look at it. So we come back to our map. We come back to our magical selling secrets. We start from scratch, but we know how to do it now. We know how to do it. The team comes at the end, not in the beginning. True story, a client of mine as well is an accountant. And she got advice from someone else to say, you've got to have a team member. Right? She just started. Do you know that for 2 years, her business almost crashed to the ground? And in fact, someone else is dead. Someone else is dead because they got on team members and all their profits went to paying their employee. And they didn't make anything. The one person's business actually did close down. So please, I know in the beginning we've got to wear all hats, but that can change. So thanks for joining me, everyone. I'm going to open up for Q&A. If you want to, you'll see it in the slides, but those are my contact details. And there's a wonderful opportunity. It's in fact tonight at 6 p.m. A talk that I'm giving at 6 o'clock. If you're interested, Tamron will share that in the chat. Just let me know and I'll send you the link. It's a very good business venture as well. And so I will do that.
Awesome. That is amazing. Thank you so much, Kim. That was really, really helpful. Lots of good tips there. I don't know how many questions there are. If you've got a question, you have the option of putting it in the chat. You can put up your hand, you can unmute yourself and ask. I know there was one question during the talk, Kim, when you were talking about focusing on money-making tasks. Dale asked if
Yes.
creating content can't be viewed as a money-making task because it helps to get you known. What are your thoughts
Yes,
on that?
absolutely. That's a very good question. Sorry, I think Asaka wants to join tonight. So please just email me and I'll email me immediately because it will be at 6. I'd love to have you there. Can I also quickly say one of my amazing networking colleagues, Miles. Can I say hi, Miles? We went B&I together. And you know him as well, Tamron, and he's just the most amazing guy. I'm so happy you're here, Miles. Okay. He's not
Awesome.
going to unmute. That's the power of networking, everyone. So yes, absolutely. So content, thank you, Stacey. Content creation is definitely. Tamron, here's the difference. Like when I create content, and guys, if any of you want to create courses, I love creating courses and I can show you a very easy way to do that. Okay? Because courses do work if you target the right market, and to get a group like this and you do a course for an hour, so it's wonderful. But if you create content, you must have a purpose. When I created content in the beginning, Tamron, it was because it was safe for me. I've got so many courses in my files that I have never used. It's nice now because now I can give them as freebies and share and all of that kind of thing. They never brought in any money, but I was safe creating content. Now when I create content, there's a specific purpose. I'm going to put on a client attraction workshop, or I'm going to do a networking workshop, whatever it is. Then, for example, when the first time I did the Turkey retreat, I created nothing until I got my first client. Then I knew, now I have to create the content, and I quickly went ahead and created the content. So it depends what you're doing with that. Just know that there's a purpose. Give yourself a time limit. You know, it's like, oh, I'm going to create this course and it's going to take 6 months to do. And no. Give yourself a time limit, get it done, and advertise, market yourself. Okay, so I hope that makes sense.
Oh, thank you.
Asake, there's a hand up, or his hand up?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Afternoon. My name is Asake Tom. I'm an actor and a creative entrepreneur. So essentially what I want to ask is that most businesses offer like product-based products. So they sell like products to consumers. So which means it's a B2C type of system. So I just want to ask, how do you build your business as a freelancer or as someone who wants to run a creative agency that is like offering a service to other businesses, which is like B2B?
Yes. It's a very interesting question because, first of all, I wrote this down. You say it's very interesting how we see things, Asake. For example, you said most businesses offer products. In my mind, not. I think maybe it's 50-50. Most of the entrepreneurs I work with actually offer services. Okay. So how do you approach that? I can tell you right now, you have your service. I'm sure many of us, it's exactly actually almost the same. A product is nice because yes, you can see it, um, but also people will need to want the product. But how do you get the product out? How do you get the product out? You got to network. You got to let people know it exists. You got to get out there. You got to be visible. Just the same with you. Okay. So your first step would be sure to know what the service is. What are you actually selling? What you're putting out there? What you're offering? What you're offering? Okay. What solution are you giving the people that you want to attract? And then you've got to get out there. Exactly the same. If I was selling a pen, that's exactly what I would do. So it's all about getting it together. And then my number one for you would be to start networking. I should actually do another course on networking because wouldn't you agree, Tamron? It's your starting point. You have to start there. People need to know you exist and they need to know what you do. And it sounds like already I'm excited by what you do. It's very creative and different. Okay. I hope that answers your question. It may not be the answer that you want to hear, but that's what you're going to have to do. Is get out there and let people know what you do.
Okay, so essentially you were saying that visibility and networking are very important in my industry.
In any industry. In any industry. Whether you're an accountant, a plumber, Miles is into VoIP and things like that. I'm a coach. In any industry, it's very important to get out there. People need to know that you exist. So ask yourself, Asake, do people know you exist? Can I ask you, do they know you exist?
I'm very much active on my social media platforms. I'm very much active on Instagram. I'm very much active on LinkedIn. So on Instagram, I cater for the actual consumer, which is the audience. Then on LinkedIn, I cater for like executives or brand managers.
Okay, so you are active and you're getting out there. Are you directing them to you? Are you directing them to what you want them to do? Are you giving them a call to action?
I would say I'm giving them a call to action to a certain extent, but currently I'm just like building relationships with them, which will eventually be a relationships that I can monetize in the long term, not currently.
Then you're on the right track. Can I just suggest one thing though, especially post-COVID now? I have found, Tamron and anyone else can please give me input here. Because things were online, look at online, this is a powerful, powerful platform we have. But I will tell you that by actually meeting people also in person really, really helps. So, take it off social media. Social media, don't take it off. Social media is your one platform. Those three are social media. But now maybe get onto stage, start meeting people or hold your own workshop like this and be the host. Okay. So social media is your one marketing platform at the moment. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So and essentially, are you saying we should balance social media and meeting people in person, maybe through conferences or workshops?
100%. You will see the difference. You will see the difference. I went to a networking meeting this morning. Once again, I was shown that it's vital, it's needed. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's your next step.
Thank you.
I will just add there, Kim, because as an introvert, I really avoided networking in the beginning of building up my business because I'd go and then I'd sit in the corner and not talk to anyone and go home again. And there's normally free food, so it wasn't a complete waste. But there was definitely no customer building in those events. So I want to add that the networking is absolutely the number one way grow a service business, but you do need to know how. So it does
Yes.
help you to actually research beforehand what it means to be involved in a networking event, and how you can approach people in the corner, or try and start up a conversation with someone. And something like BNI, you mentioned it earlier. If you're brand new to business and you're brand new to networking, BNI is very nice because it's set up in such a way that it helps you. It helps you learn, and it gives you a platform. You get 45 seconds or 30 seconds to talk about yourself, which, in a normal, if you just go to a business breakfast, you're not going to get that. You're going to have to force that on somebody. So if you're brand new to business, I do recommend something like that. I think it's really good. But whether you're new or not, and whether you want to do BNI or not, if you're going to start meeting people in person at events, you're going to have to push yourself out of that comfort zone and start talking to them. Not just eat the free food and go home like I did, because that's not going to help you very much.
Tamron, if I can just say that, very, very important. I'm glad you brought that up, because there's an art to networking, everyone. So, approach Tamron, she's your business coach, approach whoever, you can approach me, we can put something on together. But I networked like a demon for 1 full year. I came back from overseas. I was in Cape Town in business. For 1 full year, I was out on all the platforms. I spent so much money going to all the breakfasts. I didn't get one client, Tamron, not one client, because I didn't know the first thing about networking, and no one showed me. I spent a whole year not getting one client. So you really need to know how to network. You need to know,
I think that's the thing. A lot of
it.
people rock up at a networking event, and even if you've got the courage to talk to people you don't know, which a lot of us don't have, but those that do, they go straight into, hi, my name's Bob, I sell water, buy my water. Instead of trying to actually build a connection with that person, because we only buy from people we like and trust. That's a fact. So you've got to actually make people like you first.
I agree. 100%. I'm big on networking. Everyone knows that. Just because it really does work. It's your number one. As Tamron said, it's your number one. Anyone else with the question?
I think Asaka has a second one.
I hope it helped.
I just have one more question. Besides networking, how can a
Tamron, I didn't hear
freelancer?
that.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
I just have one more question. So I just want to ask, how can a freelancer, besides networking, structure their business? Because when you're a freelancer, you're self-employed. Therefore, when you're not there, there's no business. So how do you structure your business as a freelancer?
Structure your networking.
How can you structure your business as a freelancer?
Okay. So really, Asaka, you self-employed, you're one man band, like many of us, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So you've got to, you've got to build a strategy. First of all, what goal do you want to achieve? Okay, this is a whole nother workshop, but very quickly, have your goal for the end of the year. What is that goal? Know what you want to achieve by the 31st of December, or even by the end of this month, or whatever. Then you must ask yourself, so please write this down. Have your goal, have the time of that goal. The second thing would be, how am I going to get there? Now, you are the only person in your business, so you will be doing all the how. You will be wearing all the hats. You're going to be doing the admin. So first of all, you're creating your business plan. You're going to be networking, so you'll be the marketer. You're going to be doing the admin. Okay, you're going to be creating your courses. You will need to do all of that. So you're going to need to manage your time very carefully as a business owner.
Okay.
But know where you want to go first. Know what that is. Give yourself a timeline. And then, so from here to there, what needs to be done? And then break that down into pieces and start doing it. Because I think all of us mainly are maybe, we all sort of one-person businesses, maybe we've got a couple of people helping us out, but we're all there. So you have to do all of it. You have to wear all those hats, but create your strategy for that, okay? Your goal,
Yes,
your
ma'am.
task, and start moving towards that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Awesome. I see Stacey asked about BNI, but I think I answered that for you. So that's all right there. And Bronwyn has said that she would love a networking talk as well. So if you put together a talk on networking, we'll host it on the Business Builder in a couple of months then, because I think that could be very interesting.
Networking. In fact, I already have the talk because I did a networking talk before COVID. I did a live networking event in Durban, on networking itself.
Fantastic.
I'll put that down. Thanks, Tamron. Thanks, Bronwyn.
Awesome. I think that's it from what I can see. There don't appear to be any more questions. I think you gave us so much valuable information, Kim. I'm so grateful. Thank you very much. I am going to be making the recording available to everyone. So if you feel like it was too much all at once, you have time to go watch it again and really absorb the bits that will help you. And if you have any queries or you need help with your marketing or your business structure, I encourage you to reach out to Kim because she is going to help you build a better business if you ask her to. So please do that if you feel you need some help along the way. And otherwise, have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, and I hope to see you all at the next Business Builder.
Happy birthday,
Thank
Kim.
you so much, Taryn. This was awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, everyone.
thanks, Tamron.
Thank you,
Very
Miles.
Take care. Thank you.
Liana, I see you there.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, well, bye now. Bye.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Tamron. Really appreciate it. See you, Neil. Neil, I think I've seen you before. Are you in the UK?
No, no.